Well, hello everyone. I'm sure that a lot of people out there will be feeling very sad about the recent news of the passing of Brian Wilson. I'm sure it will come up about 50 times on this stream. But that's okay. That's okay. Hello everybody out there. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody's week is going Hello, can everybody hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me because looks like you're having internet issues. But hello, hello. You got Lynn. What's going on? Yeah, we just got the news less than like 15 minutes ago. Just heard the news. I heard the news today. Oh boy. We got Mike. Hello, Mike. Ted. Wish I could say good afternoon, but it's a sad one with Brian. I know. Only God only knows. Yes. Now I'm not the biggest. Excuse me. I'm not the biggest fan of the Beach Boys. If you've watched me at any point in time while live, whether on Two Legs or on other people's shows, I've said that I have never been the biggest Beach Boy fan. However, I do truly appreciate his musical talent, his genius, if you will. So, yes, there are some songs of his that are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, sad. Hello, Beetle Eddie. How are you? And we've got James. Excuse me, as I still got this stupid cough. Okay, Christian, Tom, I can hear and see you. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Matt, yep. Sly Stone and now Brian Wilson. Yeah, absolutely sucks. Absolutely sucks. Graham, how you doing? He's in West London. It's 6 p.m. or 6:06. Let's see here. Yep. Oh, let me guess that. Yep. Brian Wilson. Oh no. Yep. These losses are starting to come fast and furious. Yeah, it sucks. It's as I've said the last couple of years. I mean, these next 10 years are really gonna suck. these next 10 years. We've got a lot of icons that we have been lucky to have lived during the same time as these people. And Brian Wilson, not this included, but you got to include Brian Wilson in that category of just brilliant people that we are very lucky that we have been able to live during the same time as him. Same with Sly Stone. Not Sylvester Stallone, Sly Stone. I know a lot of people were like, Sly Stone and Sylvester. No, it's not Stallone. It's Sly Stone. Yes. So, but the next 10 years, we got so many people that are, in their upper 70s, early 80s, and then some in their 90s. I mean, Willie Nelson, still going strong, still out on tour in his 90s. So the next 10 years are really gonna suck. Yeah. Joseph Montaneo, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for being here. We got James Byers. How are you? Hey, Tom, I guess I echo the sad thoughts about Brian Wilson. Absolutely. James Boyce is here. How are you, my friend? Come on. There you go. James says he was a huge Sly fan. I don't know a lot of people that don't know, some of their hits. He was fantastic. Oh, I did not hear. Yep. Hello, I hadn't heard that. Yes, yep, just happened. No, I can't see you yet. Not yet, Uncle Paul. If I gotta send you another link, let me know. I'll send you another link. Because Uncle Paul is supposed to be joining me today, and I sent him a link, but I might have to send him another link. But no, I can't see you in the background. Let me send you another link, okay? So hang on with me. Hold on for a second, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. As I send our friend a link. Ah, there he is. Now I see him. Okay, so everybody, I'm going to be bringing up a special guest here in a second. Don't go anywhere, Paul. I'm just going to get through some of these comments real quick, and I'll be right there. We got Billy Tone. Hello, my friend. Hello. At the latest episode of Hands Across the Water dropped, and they talked about the '79 tour, which we know our friend Billy Tone got to see 3 of those shows. Fantastic. Yeah. Yep. Billy Joel's sick as well. James says Brian has been sick for a while. Yeah, we had to have known that this was coming, unfortunately. But it's not really a shock. But yeah, it does suck. Brian's hasn't been well for ages, mentally and body. Yep. Well, we got someone saying hello, Uncle Paul. We're going to bring him up in 1 second. Yes, sir. So many people have been canceling their tour. But yeah, because again, how long can you really do it? You got to just marvel at these people that, into their 80s and they're still going out there every day. Or not every day. At least a month, 2 months out of the year. Or Bob Dylan, it seems like he's going out 3 or 4 months out of the year. So Byers Pet Sounds may not be overplayed, though I love it. But for us Beatles fans, we wouldn't have got Revolver, Sgt. Pepper. That could be true. It could be true. It is. That's Paul has said that several times, right? Considering what Brian has been through, he died. Yeah, 82 years old. Wow. All right, so I'm going to bring up our friend, my friend. Your friend, everybody's friend. He is the one and only Uncle Paul. Uncle Paul, what's going on?
Hello, Tom. Just first, let me say is that I am so thrilled and honored to be with you, and I thank you, and I say hello to everyone. I will say I will never forget, because I did learn the news of Brian's passing just a few minutes before through you.
Yeah.
So I, like many, since I didn't know it was only 15 minutes, I was preparing all morning
Yeah.
here.
Right.
We just always have to, for me, I guess that we always just have to know and be blessed that we lived again in his or their lifetime, and we have all the music to treasure. But yes, of course, my condolences go out to everyone, to his family and friends, and we all love Brian Wilson. I mean, God only knows that song is brilliant. I totally agree with Paul McCartney, and I agreed before he ever said it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, God only knows. I mean, it's what I think. Me personally, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Pet Sounds, I mean, I've had the album several times. I've listened to it several times. It just, the whole thing hasn't really connected with me. But God only knows. Wouldn't it be nice? Good vibrations. Some of the best music from the 60s and some of the best music of all time, really. So Uncle Paul is like the host.
I'm sorry, we're going to lighten up the mood, I guess.
But, yes, we are going to.
Yes, hopefully this will make the viewers feel a little less. So, but again, you know how I feel. But thank you.
Right.
So I will say, all right, you're in the
Playhouse is open. Yes. And Uncle Paul here, we're just gonna talk about his channel and some really cool Paul stuff that he has, and just some other stuff in general. We'll talk about what he does on his channel, and we'll take your comments and questions. I'm also going to be giving away a copy of the latest Luca Perazzi book, Press to Play, that unmistakable 80s sound, now available on Amazon. Okay, so I'm going to be giving this copy away, everybody. So stick around. Paul's going to help me give this book away.
Sure.
I didn't tell him that yet, but we're going to figure out something. Okay, we're just going to go with the flow here. We're just going to have a great time, and let me get through some more of these comments here, and then we're going to talk to Uncle Paul here and learn about his channel. Sly's music was definitely playing in my youth, growing up in the Bronx in the 70s. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. I don't think you can. Not listen, not hear, if you're listening to the radio, I mean, obviously Sly is a big part of the 70s. Were you a Sly and the Family Stone fan there, Paul?
Yes. I mean, I couldn't believe you realize, oh my God, that was his song too. During all the obits that have been going on the local news and stuff. Yes, I would absolutely just give you a thumbs up.
Yes.
A Macca thumbs up.
Right. We got Mike says, I didn't think Brian would be the last Wilson brother. Well, yeah, there you go. Plagued with mental issues there, starting in the late 60s, having a nervous breakdown and stuff like that, in the bathrobe. You see him in pictures in bathrobes and stuff like that. But I mean, again, it's like Paul said, we got to be grateful that we're alive in his lifetime.
Yes.
Yep. Joe says, I'm doing good. Tom, are you out? I'm doing better. I still got this cough that I can't get rid of. But I'm trying. See, James says, I was glad to have seen Brian on the Smile Tour in 2004. Yeah, that was a big box set that came out in the early 2000s. The Smile, he did go on tour on that. He also in 2004 put out an album called "Getting In Over My Head" with a particular song on there titled "A Friend Like You," and that was a duet he did with his friend and the person that we worship on this channel, Paul McCartney. So if you haven't heard that song, "A Friend Like You," you can go on YouTube and check it out. Okay.
Tom, what do you think of the Love and Mercy movie? Had you seen that?
No. Oh no, you're talking about the one with Paul Dano as Brian Williams? No, I hadn't seen that. Seen that. Did you like it?
Yes, I really did. Yes, the way they did it. Again, Macca thumbs up. Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to have to check it out. I am a fan of Paul Dano as an actor. I think he's fantastic. Susan, hello, Susan. Thank you for being here. Hi, everyone. It's sad, so sad to hear about Brian's death. I love to do it. Yeah, Friend Like You. Yes, check that out. This is Beatle Eddie the Crown win. Oh yeah, the Beatle trivia. Yeah, that's right. The Andy's Beatle trivia that he does on Sundays. Absolutely. Brad, how are you? I've heard that Paul had the idea for a Silver Surfer movie, so look for stories, and all I found was someone came to Paul to write music for a Silver Surfer. Well, no, I haven't heard that, but we know that Paul was a big fan of comic books and a big fan of sci-fi.
Sure.
See, James says, I'm seeing Stevie Wonder and Jeff Lynne in July. Fingers crossed. Well, I don't. Hopefully, there won't be any more. Those two will be fine, and the shows will go on. I did get to see Stevie Wonder for his tour that he did, where he played everything from the songs in the Key of Life album, which is one of the greatest double albums of all time.
I got to see Stevie at the 1-to-1.
Did you?
Yes.
No kidding. So you were at the 1-to-1 show?
Yes. My dear late mother took us on the bus, and we have our tickets for $7.50. Great seats.
Wow.
And we were at the matinee. I was 9 years old, and I will never forget it. It was my first concert seeing John.
That's a great first concert, my friend.
Yeah, Roberta Flack, of course, who we just recently lost.
Yes.
Sha Na Na and Geraldo Rivera hosted.
No kidding.
Yeah, I just watched the 1-to-1 movie again yesterday afternoon.
Yeah,
really interesting the way they put it together, but it makes you so hungry for the remastered stuff.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to get this October.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy Tone says he only said it after you heard you say, oh, okay, I don't remember what that was from, but I like heroes and villains. Okay. Beatle Eddie says Beach Boys are supposed to tour this summer. Who knows if they will? Well, Mike Love's going to tour, whether Brian Wilson is alive or dead. I'm really curious to hear his response on this, and I'm sure he'll turn it around and make it all about him. See here. Brett says, I'm just learning about Brian's passing from your show, still processing. This one's going to hurt. Exactly. I mean, he was a musical genius. Love and Mercy was fantastic. Yeah, that's the movie that Uncle Paul was talking about. Okay. Then we got to see the Smile Tour and the Pet Sounds 2006. Now, yeah, that 2016, that was the anniversary, or not the reunion tour, was it not? Yeah. John Cusack was in that movie as well.
Yes, Paul Giamatti. Yes, amazing. Great movie.
The great Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti is one of my favorite actors of this generation. Let's see here. Unfortunately, Tony, we just learned about the passing of Brian Wilson. Tom, how you doing, buddy? I'm going to see the Beach Boys with Herman Hermits on June 26th at Fox. Well, I'm sure. Hopefully, they pay respects to Brian. Tony D says John Lennon was in top form in the 1-to-1 concert. There you go. Now let me ask: were you a Beatles fan at that point in time, Paul?
Yes, I was. I was a Beatles fan before I could read. I got my aunt's record case when she got married in 1968. I was 3 or 4. Okay. And there were a bunch of Beatles singles in it. And I just went by the color. I used to get actually confused with the Beach Boys singles, to be honest with you, because they were both on the yellow and orange swirl and both starting with the BEA, since I couldn't read. But the answer was definitely yes. Very cool. I was a Beatle fan at 9. I do remember Get Back being on the radio and Hey Jude. My mother, when they got up to the Na Na Na's on Hey Jude, she used to say like, why does that record go on so long? Yeah. I was born in 1963, so we just do the math at that point. But and I remember I got into the really realizing, hey, these are the same guys on these records that I've been listening to since I was 2 or 3, around 1970. And it really got big for us in Easter of 1971 when my sister and I gathered up our $5 to buy Magical Mystery Tour. We picked that because I did remember Penny Lane being on the radio.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Brad says, I'm so glad now that I spent so much time seeing older artists. When my late wife and I were dating, we saw the Everly Brothers twice, along with so many other acts that were big before we were born. Yeah, and you know what? We've been saying that, Andy, myself, and others, life is short. Buy the ticket. You never know when it's going to be the last, when it's the last opportunity you have to see, one of these artists, and that's why I'm going to, when McCartney announces another tour, I'm going to be going to as many of those shows as I can, because again, you never know when it's going to be the last time. Let's see here, Lynn. I hope to win today. Well, we're not going to give away on trivia, okay? I'm going to leave the trivia to Andy. We're just going to probably pick a winner at some point today. So no, I don't want anybody stressing out today over any kind of trivia or anything like that. So, but my dear cousin Duke Viking, who I started the show with, Al goes out with our Jardine goes out with Brian backing band these days, along with Al's son. I had the pleasure of meeting Al at the Bob Seger show when I was working concerts and stuff like that. We were backstage at the feeding dinner, and Al was there along with Alice Cooper. That was a pretty fun backstage experience. So wow. Really cool. Yeah.
Stories are amazing, Tom. They really are.
Yeah. Thank you. Someone says, hello, Beatle Eddie. Tony says, Paul Giamatti played the abusive manager in Love and Mercy. Okay. Very cool.
Well, he played, oh God, I can't remember. The man that had such a hold on Brian. That was the character.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. The doctor, what's his name or whatever. Please, someone
help
me.
Dr. Vinny Box. Yeah.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see here. I just got Abbey Road on vinyl. Masterpiece. Absolutely. Well, yep. There's our buddy. There's my good friend Annie Nichols, my co-host. Tom, give Smile a chance. I will give Smile a chance.
Andy, hello. I want to say hello. Special hello to Andy.
Yeah.
I gotta just, yeah. Wait a minute. Our very special hellos to Andy.
Okay. Mike says the U.S. Magical Mystery Tour album is like a greatest hits in a way. At least one side is right. See, things we said today. Did a fantastic Venus and Mars episode with history lesson from. Yeah, that's great. Love it. That's why we had Alan and Adrian on the panel with us at the Beatle Fest when we did our tribute to Venus and Mars.
I enjoyed that. Was great.
Thank you. So pick me. We'll see, buddy. We'll see. Get Landy. What's Landy?
Yes,
Gene Landy.
That was Dr. Gene Landy was the character that Paul Giamatti played in Love and Mercy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. There you go. Everybody's saying hi to Uncle Paul right now.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much.
Says hello. Yeah. I need some good reading. Also, I thought I was winning a book on Sunday. Well, I can't help you with, but you never know. Brad says, I remember Uncle Paul on a live with Mikey Arugula on Friends. You guys have a lot of amazing stuff. So as you can see, behind Uncle Paul, he absolutely does have a lot of amazing stuff. And let's start Uncle Paul. Why Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse? Why start your own YouTube channel?
All right, that's a good question, Tom, because I needed something to do in my retirement years, which is partially true. I've been collecting all my life. I was very fortunate. And I realized that I was living like this in a museum and that it was time to share it with everyone. And yet I had the idea going back at least 30 years of different, like maybe public access type shows. So I kept thinking, how can I incorporate everything I own into something?
Right.
And then last October 2024, it was a realization that it just all came together. I went through several names. It was going to be Uncle Paul's Pop Beatles Bijou at one point. And then I thought, wait a minute, I'm not really showing movies or anything. So that
Right.
showed. Then I went through so many like revisions, things on Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It was going to be Uncle Paul's Lonely, blah, blah, blah. That didn't work. So then I had actually on the first photo I posted a couple weeks before the first episode, which was all about United Artists Hard Day's Night items. But there was an ampersand. It was Beatles and Pop Playhouse. And on the little art card, may I show it?
Yes, please.
This is the art card. So the ampersand was literally right here. So it's, Beatles and Beatles and Pop Playhouse. So that card, I kept the picture up, but before the first video went out episode, I peeled off the ampersand from that foam board card. And I'm so actually, now that I'm thinking about it live here with you, Tom, I'm going to give a special, I believe it was Andy I was commenting, and he said, that's a great name live. But he said, boy, that's quite a mouthful. And that was I said that was a wonderful comment, and it wasn't like insulting to me at all. But that was like, since I had been thinking about it anyway, I ripped that ampersand off the foam board card. And I'm glad, because to me, Beatles Pop Playhouse just flows better. And, I do we have 20 episodes up right now. We try and keep them to they're about 15 minutes each. I put one out every 2 weeks. And it's just like half of them are about the Beatles, generally, Beatles collectibles.
We won't talk about who your last show was about, because we know this is a monkey-free
okay, no, I didn't. Okay, no, you felt the plug coming fast and furious. No, I'll talk about So we know number 20 just came out. No, hey, we're the mm-hms. And but yes, no, meaning that's part of to me, almost the monkeys are. All Beatle fans generally are monkey fans. You're the exception there, Tom.
Yes, I think I know.
But the pop part of it, I just finished number 23, which is all about Bazooka Joe items. Meaning we go off to other items, a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff. There's always a category, and you're going to plug me a lot. But please subscribe to the Playhouse, because we're really trying to grow, even though it's only been since October. And I am so grateful for everyone. I do call them members that have commented and given me such just wonderful things that just mean so much to me. Everyone has been so supportive. That's what I'm really trying to say, Tom. I really am so grateful.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And please go head over to Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse. It is a mouthful, but it's great. But and please subscribe, because as you can see, this is the kind of things that I love and our fans love. It's the collecting aspect of it, and we're going to talk about collecting, and we're going to talk about collecting then versus collecting now. And I really want to talk about the difference between the two, but talk about starting collecting, and when did you realize that you were a collector?
All right. Well, again, we were not rich or anything. In 1971, we're cutting Twinkies in half. All right. So I want to make that very clear. Right. But of course, everything was much cheaper then. Right. And you got to also remember that in 1970, 71, which again, is when the collecting bug started for me, and I'm 7 years old or so, that there were no books, or obviously we know there was no internet, but there are not even any collector books. So you didn't know what had been previously released. And I do talk about, all right, can I plug the Yellow Submarine episode, which has been everyone loved that. Number 18, episode 18, we all live in a Yellow Submarine. But I showed the binder, loose-leaf binder, and that was something that I got at a local sweet shop, soda pop shop, in 1971. That was just a few blocks from where we lived. And I saw it on the shelf. It's like, and yes, it was $3 or $4, and maybe my allowance was 50 cents to 75 cents a week at that point, or you saved up my grandparents' Christmas money, and that's how. But the binder was $4 or $5, and yes, that was a lot of money, but I just had to have it. I would cut the grass more or something, just like and my parents were very supportive that way. That they knew how much passion I had for it. So maybe they snuck me an extra buck or something.
Right.
But yeah, it's like these blow-ups. I remember I was down the shore. They set up 4 inflatables. And again, I didn't know they existed at all. And there they were on the wheel where you have to, and we tried to desperately buy them individually. Of course, the carnival barker couldn't do that. So we covered the wheel. It was probably a dime a number with 12 numbers to get, $1.20 to get the set of inflatables.
Right.
So that's kind of all how it worked.
Right. And the difference between now and then also is you guys didn't know what was out. I mean, you didn't know that
that's why oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you didn't know the inflatables were like you got Paul and George, you got Paul behind you.
You got 2 Pauls.
You had no idea that was out unless you're at the store and seeing it, or maybe you might have seen the commercial because there is a commercial for the Paul and Ringo shampoo bottle, and I see the Paul
shampoo. Yeah,
and there was a commercial for that. So if you were watching TV, then you might have known that. But that's the thing is, it's like now we can just go on the internet, see when something's coming out, or they're announcing it on the internet. So a lot easier for collectors these days. So, but yeah, keep talking. I mean, so you're
I started working officially. Yeah. It's coming up, my big anniversary on June 23rd. 1980. I was 17 years old. Still living at home. I didn't leave my parents' house till I was 21 in 1984. But at that point, besides my first car, the little Volkswagen Rabbit, 1975, all my money, because you don't have that expenses, you're still living at home, and I'm working almost full time I was also a senior in high school at that point. That's when I would get maybe some collector catalogs, like the Paul Soki, that got on the secondary market, as we call it. But again, I was lucky that I paid maybe $15 for it back then. But that's the type of thing where it's like, then you could start finding out. I remember the banks here. May I show?
Yes, please.
I love these.
What do you got? What do you got?
I love Pride Creations, the set of 4 Yellow Submarine banks, which were, they're very fragile. Like I said, I only brought out the Paul ones today.
Yep.
I remember, now this was gotten right before I left my parents' house, so about 1983 or so. And I believe, yes, it was a company called Just Kids Nostalgia. It just comes back to me that they had the set of 4. Now I saved up my money because, again, it's nothing now. But then I probably paid $150 for the set of 4. And we generally we don't talk about price on the Playhouse, but since I'm guesting with you, Tom, but we know
we don't do that either.
We know how collectible we are.
Yeah. I mean, at $5-10, no big deal. But once you're getting into like the hundreds of dollars, you kind of like don't like to.
I remember I couldn't even admit to my parents that I had spent that type of money because I just felt guilty.
What's on the bottom? What's on the bottom of that bank? I mean, is there a company name at the bottom of the bank?
Of course. And this is good for the collectors out there, which is, again, what we do on the Playhouse. The 2 stickers, because these have been, if my producer was here, repro alert, they either repaint them or, but you have to have, of course, here's the nice sticker, and it's etched in Pride Creations, and they were a Japanese company. And then you have the King Features Suba Films 1968 sticker. Now, luckily, meaning they haven't reproduce that. So when you do get a horrible one of these, or you see it on eBay or a little figure, they don't have the stickers. So these are kind of easy to tell that it's a reproduction or not. I don't even like, though, if they take the original, because Tom, how much the paint comes off here so easily. They crack stuff.
Yes.
But I don't even like if someone repaints it. You have to have the original paint.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yes, that's how you tell. You got to have the 3 things, definitely.
Right. All right, what else you got back there?
All right. Well, we could say we got the Soki that, and it still amazes me. We know how popular Paul and Ringo were in 1965, technically as the most popular Beatles. But this, of all the Beatle products that did come out, this is the only one where they like were cheap about it, I guess, where they only made Paul and Ringo Soakies, as everyone knows.
Right.
And it tell you what a Soakie is in case people don't know. I guess this is very popular. All right. So this was done by the Palmolive company. Still around today, Palmolive soap. And there are literally hundreds of these Soakies. And maybe we could see one in the background. But I have a lot of the Hanna-Barbera ones here. And it's funny, they'd even make obscure Hanna-Barbera characters. But no, they couldn't make a George or John Soakie. That's why it still amazes me. Imagine the 4 dolls of the Remco figures, and they didn't make a couple of the Beatles, right? That would be silly. But these would have, for the children, bubble bath in them.
Right.
That's why they call it a Soakie. And a lot of people, because they were so cute, of all the characters, Soakies are very common, generally easy to come by. All right, the Beatles, of course. This generally, we'll talk about price here. So in this nice condition, same thing, where you have all the original paint here. Nothing's coming off on him. He'd probably be about $150 to $200 a piece for Paul and Ringo. Right. But generally, if you find like a Top Cat or a Snagglepuss Soakie, you can get them still to this day in good condition for under $25. And I think something from the 60s is nice.
Mm-hmm. However, if it's sitting in its base box that it originally came in at the store, you are going to probably pay a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely, Tom. I left that part out. I don't have any original boxes for those. Yes, then you'd probably play up to $400 in there. As usual, it's all about the box.
Our friend Terry Crane, who had done that, the great, wonderful NEMS memorabilia.
I love that book. Yes, I have it.
I've been on collectors panels with him, and I actually brought that to a panel one year at the Beatle Fest, and he had mentioned how Palmolive they did a survey of the 2 more popular Beatles, and Ringo and Paul won. So that's pretty much why you only see Paul and Ringo as the only 2. So
I'm trying to think,
really story.
Right, but all right. This is an obscure Hanna-Barbera character, which I love her, Witchy Poo. Now I'm looking. They made the Witchy Poo Soakie. That's what I'm saying. Like if they could make a Witchy Poo Soakie, I still maintain they should have made George and John.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, we want all of them to.
Yes, and thank goodness that is the only time for big collected memorabilia, as far as I know, that happened. Like as I said, I was comparing to the Remco dolls or the Banks or anything else. Like of course they would make all 4 Beatles.
Right.
Yes.
So go ahead.
No, so we got. Before I forget, I'm wearing. I guess Mr. Broadstreet isn't with us today. We got the Broadstreet little pin promotion there. I talk about the Paul stuff more, and I found this recently. I found all my buttons. A nice promo of Back to the Egg there.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Yeah. And I had that originally since, that's the thing too. It was so exciting that to be a Beatle fan, maybe I digress for a second, but in the early 70s and to have lived it, again, these were all original purchases. I remember my sister buying Ram and, and hearing Uncle Albert Halsey on the radio and Another Day. And at that point, and I was seeing like this Apple label, which was so cool to me because it's just like, all right, I know that's going to be a record that I'm going to love. You didn't even have to hear it. That's why during the little dispute, when Hi, Hi, Hi or Give Ireland Back to the Irish came out, on the non-Apple graphic there. All right, thank goodness. I knew, I'm not trying to name drop, but I was also lucky enough to meet Mark Lapidus at Sam Goody's in 1972. And he was the Beatle guy. So every Saturday, we'd go to the Garden State Plaza, the mall in New Jersey, and Mark would show us, for 69 cents, about 79 cents, which is what a single cost back then. We know how prolific the individual Beatles were in 1972, 73. So there literally was a single coming out or an album. It seemed like every week.
Right.
But it was so, I said, I don't want to digress, but I have to really stress how incredible and thankful that I feel also that I lived as a kid. Again, I'm 10 years old in 1973, 74. And hearing Whatever Gets You Through the Night on the radio and all those, and remember buying Red Rose Speedway and Wildlife. I was, obviously I loved them. I was a kid. But my sister was more a Paul guy, and I was more a John guy. But again, that's in 1973. I'm 10. But as for the Beatles, of course, it was just listening to everything. Yeah. I didn't get to see Paul in 76. That was for my Beatle concert appearances, which also there's a Playhouse episode about that. We show the ticket stubs. We saw George in 74.
You did see George in 74. All right.
Yes. So John was the first in 72, first concert. George was my second, 74. And I didn't get to, my mother, she didn't drive. And I remember her saying like, well, we could go see McCartney, Paul, but she was too afraid because it was just to take the bus and Paul Wings was just too hot at that point. So that we passed on. But I saw Paul the first time in 89 along with Ringo at that point. But I said, I feel very fortunate, sadly also, but this is the way the world works, that I got to see the two Beatles that are no longer with us as my first and second concerts. And
that's amazing. Right. That's amazing.
You can't take that away from the memory of the brain.
No, you can't. Collecting today. I mean, what are you looking for these days? And when you determine whether or not you're going to get this piece or, or if you think it's worth it or not,
Well, memorabilia wise, I guess because I have reached the point, I'm also like going through everything that I've collected. Tom, I will admit there's 200 metal lunchboxes here in the Playhouse. We do lunchbox episodes and all that type of stuff. But for modern collecting, all right, records, absolutely. Even though I don't, like I bought the Capitol box set and things like that. And I have like Egypt Station on red vinyl. I got that. And of course, I guess I did fall into, I have all the McCartney 3. I have at least 6 color variations, I admit. I don't think I would do that again. Not that I have any remorse about it. So records definitely, because I have a beautiful 1973 working turntable here in the Playhouse with a flip needle, and the vinyl. We show it eventually. Sometimes the vinyl drops. You could stack your 7-inch records. I was just before we were going live here. I was blasting my original RAM as I was setting up the Paul items here in the Playhouse. But memorabilia. I said, we saw each other in March. We got to meet officially, even though I've been also going to the fest. Back to the Mark Lapito story real fast. So he told me in 1973, since I'm seeing him every Saturday, I'm going to have, this 10th anniversary celebration. So I did get to go. I went to the first Beatle Fest, and I haven't missed any. I was fortunate enough to have this happening. The Lapidos family is also, Jersey people.
Yep.
And so... That was so exciting. And even back then, Mark would do the Beatle Fest twice a year. So you would save up all your money and stay at the hotel, even just like I do to this day. But this year I was promoting the Playhouse. But the only thing new stuff, I bought the Yellow Submarine Rubik's Cube because I thought it was cute. But I bought some vintage Beatles pillows. That was my big purchase this past March. I have a lot of the vintage stuff, but I guess now the newest stuff let's see, I don't even know. All right, I did pick this up, and this is relatively new, I guess, to be honest. So I guess this would be considered a new collectible. But again, it's $15 at the fest, and I'm a sucker for this type of stuff. Sergeant Peeper's Lonely Hot Tub Band. It's a little floating duck, and it's such a psychedelic box. This was like still on a Saturday afternoon. The guy said like $15 here. I couldn't have given him a 10 and a 5 any quicker. So yeah, I mean,
that's just funny.
Yeah, I love this stuff. Now, I got the, these are they did these in. I think I'm buffering for a second. Here we go. These are the resin ones.
Yeah.
And again, when I'm with the Playhouse, which is true, I utilize these during the anniversary this past February. I redid the Ed Sullivan stage, and I put in a picture on the Playhouse of these guys. And I
had plastic versions of those.
Yes, those are the more common versions.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, I love you Ringo. It takes so complicated. The drum, everything is there.
Right.
The plastic one as well. But I just, Paul's guitar here. He has like a little vinyl strap around them.
Right.
You can take the guitar comes off, is what you say here and everything. It's just what a beautiful set. And they all came in, styrofoam and not fancy boxes. It was just blue, this box with graphics on it. And then I think I did these. This was probably 10 or 15 years ago. The Rock Icons set, and these are numbered 257 of 3000. But these are also like resin,
right?
But they also did like a big blue meanie, and it's just they did an incredible job, I must say. And I pay for everything. We never got any comps when it comes to Beatles stuff.
Did you get did you collect the plates too? Remember the plates that came out in the 80s and 90s, and
I love them. I love them all. Yes, I do. I have them all from that Hamilton collection, I believe they were. And also
I remember commercials for those, and they would make it sound like this was a major investment, and that the
that's funny when they limit
go up, but
they limit it to 30 firing days.
Yeah,
I bought a few honeymooners plates too. But I bought the bell jars, they call it, those little. There's a set of 6 around the same time, under glass musical wind-ups. But they are so detailed. They did like Beatles 65, Sgt. Pepper, Yellow Submarine, Abbey Road, gorgeous. So I guess if you consider that, maybe when you were talking about new collectibles, then I'm all in. Meaning anything that didn't come out in the 60s. It's just like since 2015 or 20, I've slowed down a lot, but I'm really appreciating what I have. And I'm not ever breaking here in the Playhouse. We love it. I think you could tell my enthusiasm.
Right. So you're a Hanna-Barbera fan as well. You collect that stuff too?
Oh, yes. I mean, before I was a television kid. And our local Channel 5 here in New York, the Flintstones, I Love Lucy, Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound.
Yeah.
To this day, and I'm not trying to plug any, but there's a new channel, MeTV Toons, 24 hours a day of cartoons, and they're showing all these things remastered and it's so much fun.
Wow!
Mm-hmm. But no, I'm. That's why when part of the word pop in the Playhouse, that's where we get to showcase all the other collectibles that
Very
we love.
Cool. Very cool.
What else you got behind you? All right. Well, we brought some records as well, Tom.
Oh, great.
Should I start with the records? All right.
Yes, we love records.
All right. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you a few other stories first before I forget, because I don't know what our time is. All right. So I was lucky enough to go to, just stand out in the crowd to the Give My Regards to Broad Street premiere in New York City. And I remember everyone, but I know Playhouse members understand this. We had film cameras back then. So I'm holding my Yashica. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I'm just down. At some point, our friend, Mr. Broadstreet, will probably see this, and you probably will get bombarded with calls if you have something that he doesn't have, and he's probably going to want it.
I'm willing to give him this little Broad Street.
I'm sure he's got 20 of those.
Right, yeah. All right, let me talk about this. Now, this I got. It says the instructor, they made, all right, talk about only making certain Beatles. They made Paul and John, and this is from 1973. And it's from a company in New York, but I remember these were all in our local stores in Sam Goody's in 73. So it's just a paper picture of them on a piece of like hard plastic. But I recently found this when I found all my buttons in a lunchbox. Back to Broad Street. So I'm at the Give My Regards to Broad Street premiere in New York City. So Paul and Linda have arrived. And oh my God. So we're so excited. So I take my Yashica film camera, and I got 24 pictures I could take. That's the way it was again in those days. Right. Otherwise, you have to put in a new roll of film from the Kodak company. Right. Really, kids, if you're watching, this is the way it was back then. You had 24 shots, and there's no seeing what they look like till you take them to a developer.
That's right.
Then you have to maybe get your pictures in 2 or 3 days. All right. So honest to goodness. So I hold up, Paul and Linda have arrived after waiting like 2 hours. And, security is all over the place. He says, so I hold up the camera above my head. Oh, and by the way, after you took a picture, you had to hit a little thing to get to the next part of the film. Yeah. I know everyone knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. So here we go. This is as close as I ever got to Paul McCartney. I mean, no glare there. You could see Linda as well. And of course, the security force is really blocking me off. You see this gentleman's hand, like, Get away from Mr. McCartney. So
good.
obviously that's why I used to have this hanging up so long. I'm not sure what this is. Yeah, this was like it's too far away. This was the big, as they call it, the money shot.
Right.
Again, it was just over my head. Click, click. And that's the way it did it. So anyway, so that's my closest I ever got to Paul McCartney. Now, I did a little, no pun intended, fan on the run experience as well in 1993, where I went to the tour in California and Las Vegas. Now, this was in a record store in Las Vegas when he was at the Sam Boyd there. And so I was there, especially for that. So again, a nice local record shop where I love the fact, and I knew even at the time, because, collector heart in me, that it was going to have the April 14th, 1993 date, 8:00, Las Vegas, Nevada. Like, this doesn't happen anymore. Very rarely, because this is really sanctioned. It's got the logo from the New World Tour and everything. You would just get a generic tour thing. So I said to the guy, I'm the owner of the record shop. I'm going to this like tonight or tomorrow. If I come back after the show, obviously you know where this is going, can I have it? And again, those were the good days where he said, obviously, yes, but I treasure this. This is, to me, really cool.
Oh, that's very cool. I love that.
Yeah. It's something specific to Paul's tour. I think continuing on a few oddities before we get to the records.
Yeah.
So I'm at Barnes & Noble, and again, Barnes & Noble store, where this was in a box from a real company that just repurposes records. There's a Ringo, they use just old records. Now, like I have an It Don't Come Easy clock from the same company. But again, this was not at a Beatle Fest, like not homemade. They're at Barnes & Noble. So I thought, all right, cool, bookends. So when I opened it, I said, okay, so it's Beware My Love is on the on the back. I said, oh, how cool. It's like I could only see the Bobby Darin side when I bought the bookends that they saw, but I was so thrilled that and it was funny that they didn't even put like silly what was it, Silly Love Songs? So someone correct me. Silly Love Songs is the A side.
Let them in.
I was gonna say, well, let him in. Yeah, that's right. Cook of the House is the B side to Silly Love Songs.
Silly Love Songs, yes.
Tom, were you? I mean, still to this day, blasting "Beware My Love." Is that one of your like favorites or no?
I love Beware My Love is one of the great rockers. I think of the great arena rockers from Paul in the 70s. I was born in 73, so I really didn't get to experience it, unfortunately, 3 years later when I was 3 years old. But but I remember in the later 70s hearing Silly Love Songs being played on the radio, just loving it, so but yeah, Beware My Love is fantastic.
Oh yes, I love, obviously, the songs that I could listen to any of them. Like I said, but it's a certain songs. It's like you have to just blast it when "Beware My Love" comes on. I love when songs really hold up. I guess that's what I'm again feebly trying to say.
Right.
When and of course we know that with the Beatles, but just like they seem so fresh.
Yeah.
And I don't want to start any controversy, but because there's such a long list, obviously, meaning "Give Island Back to the Irish" just comes to mind, or "Figure of Eight," and I watch all the shows here that you do, and I know there's some kinds of controversy, but to me, I just lump it all in, and I love it. Obviously, there's some songs that are not that great to me, but
that's the thing is everybody has a bad day at the office. Nobody's discography is perfect. And I'd say even the Beatles' discography isn't perfect, but it might be the closest to perfection that there is out there.
All right, so here it is. It's a bootleg.
Yes.
We've got Yvonne here on a 7-inch.
Nice.
Yes. Now, I was also, this is the next thing I played before we went on today, Tom. Yeah. And it's so funny. I was looking at, this is the days where with bootlegs, it says 1980 on it. They put the copy, but no, 1990. But, as with a lot of bootlegs, but sometimes they were more, it's on Marvel Records. They didn't want to say like who, there's no, on the label, forget it. No Paul McCartney, and so this double A side is, I forgot what the other song is, but it's an Elvis tune, right? Tom, do you know what this 7-inch is? I forgot. It's Now or Never. is
Sour
on one
Number is
side.
probably the one that's from the Choba, the Russian album.
Yes, but of course, Yvonne and the quality on this bootleg vinyl is really good. So Yvonne sounds great.
Well,
Right
show
now,
that sleeve again. Show that sleeve again, if you don't mind, please.
oh no, please, yeah. Here we go.
Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, because I've only seen that once on eBay. I'm gonna have to check it out on see if there's some on Discogs as well. I'd have to get that.
Luckily again, these were all
one of my favorite unreleased Paul tracks.
Oh yes, yeah. I have my Cold Cuts bootleg vinyl of the many, but I know I got it early. But whenever Cold Cuts surfaced in the mid '80s, and it has the record player on it, I was going to bring that and show that out today. You know, I love that album. It's universally, I know most McCartney fans do. All right, for a great
bootleg. Great bootleg. Great bootleg.
Maybe I should stick with the bootlegs before we do official. I'll do them in order. All right, so then we got the Live from Liverpool, the November 25th, 1979.
Yep.
It's just fun for the sleeve. I admit this. It's Yesterday and Let It Be. Quality's not too good though on this, but it's fun, you know. And then of course Nashville Diary. They got this is an EP.
I want to get that one as well. Yeah. This is the one that I have. That's it's Live Rarities.
Ah, very nice.
Like P.S. Let Me Do, Only Love Remains, Blue Moon of Kentucky, and Best Friend.
Yeah, this is My Love, One Hand Clapping, Hi Hi Hi, and Soily.
Nice.
Yes.
Very cool.
All right, then we got the this is a McCartney Lennon.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
One Call Sally and Hound Dog. But it's cute with the Ram thing, obviously, that they show. You know, both pictures there. It's a great novelty sleeve. Right. All right, so then to go, we got to go to the EPs. But all right, so modern. This was like at Best Buy, you had to when the archive came out.
Yep, I've got that too. Yep.
My brave face on the 7-inch.
Yellow and blue 7-inch vinyl. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. And of course, they did such a great job. It lasts. And of course, then another record store day when they released Another Day and Woman Know Why. And of course, the same thing with Best Buy. Let Them In, Figure of Eight. All right, so now we'll go. I know you collect. How you doing with your picture sleeve from around the world?
Well, I just got one in the mail Monday, and it's My Love from Argentina.
Ooh, Tom, you are building up quite a collection. This is exciting.
Yes, I've got another one from Argentina coming any day now.
Wow. All right, so we have let's see. We have
is that the German? I think that's the German. Mrs. Vanderbilt. Yes.
Yes, exactly. See, this is. I'll just hold them up, and then you say what it is, Tom. Here we go.
See, now that's the Mexican EP featuring the songs of Ram.
Yes,
and I think Another Day is on there as well. Yes.
Yes, it is, and another. I always loved. I'd love to go to the B-sides first. Oh, Woman Know Why. Yes. Another one. That's like in the Beware My Love category for me. Oh, Woman Know Why.
Yeah. Fantastic.
All right, here it comes. Another Rammer.
I think that's France. Eat at Home, or Spain or France, or one of the two.
Yep, France. Eat at Home, Smile Away.
Yes. Now, only more like a European release. UK or US did not release Eat at Home, and the same goes for Mrs. Vanderbilt. It was more of a European release.
Right. Now I know it does have a picture sleeve. I have Backseat of My Car as a single. Do you know what country put that?
That was US. I mean, I'm sorry, that was UK. No, the UK. Sorry, that was a UK release. Backseat of My Car.
And Heart of the Country.
Yes, right? UK released Backseat of My Car. Backseat of My Car, whereas the US released Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey.
Right. Yes. And there are too many people. Said I heard the B-side. I heard Too Many People before I heard the album Ram, because the single always came out first in those days. I'm gonna tell you a fast story about Hi Hi Hi. If we just talk about memories of living it and knowing it. So now again, even when I'm 10 years old or whatever, but I was like, wow, this controversial Paul McCartney song, like, oh, is he saying the bad word and all this? But that song, I used to watch every Saturday afternoon, of course, Dick Clark's American Bandstand.
Right.
When Hi Hi Hi, they do the top 10 of the week, and I'm being very serious about this. So and then they would play the number one song. They skipped it when Hi 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 was in the number one position because I think in those days they didn't even realize. I guess obviously the whole song was semi-controversial, depending on how you listen to it. Where they're either getting high on drugs.
Well, it was banned in the UK. It was banned in the UK,
right? And he would love that. It said coming up with Mary, and just like Give Island Back to the Irish was banned, as we know, and so that's why actually when Mary Had a Little Lamb. Hey, whatever you say about Mary Had a Little Lamb, it does have 4 videos, so he really believed in it.
I think it's more than 4 videos.
Right. I mean officially, right? I love that they all came out though on the archive edition.
On the archive set, yes, yep.
So beautiful, Tom. I said that's the exciting part about it.
I have come to really appreciate that song more over time. It was never really a favorite of mine, but since the archive set came out, I've come to appreciate it a little bit more. So
I remember the first time I like the Flip Wilson show played the video, and that was the first time I got to see the video. And then, of course, I remember watching the James Paul McCartney special.
Right.
You know, the first time it was on, hence seeing Mary Had a Little Lamb on that as well. I love the.
What did you think about the whole "Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance" routine?
All right. To be honest, again, in perspective, meaning we're taking it when I'm seeing it for the first time as a child, and then it would be rerun on our station. No, I was as a little 10-year-old, 11-year-old. I'm bored. and the pub scene, you know, almost to this day, I get a little like if I'm watching James Paul, the pub scene goes on a little bit too long for me. Even though now
I go on a little too long,
and of course, you know, the novelty of the people singing the Beatle tunes and the medley and things. But you know, when I watched the remastered James Paul McCartney at the pub scene as more of an adult now, well, obviously, but meaning I enjoyed seeing Paul talk about it and could clearly hear when he was talking about family members and introducing them.
Right.
And even though it still kind of went on too long for me, but no, Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance didn't work for me. But by the way, going back to Broad Street, it was Paul, you know, 1984. I didn't care. I loved that movie, and still, I said I'll put it on a couple times a year. And the only thing I remember when I was seeing it originally in the theater, Broad Street, was the dream sequence, even though it was so cool to have Ringo and Barb and everybody in the movie. But that particular scene, Eleanor's dream, did go on a bit too long for me as well. But Paul has, I'm sure Paul always had final edit approval on his projects.
It was his movie. Yeah.
Yes. So we go on. These are too basic. This is too basic. I should have brought out more, you know, the UK figure of 8. But see, that's another thing. I was watching one of your streams recently. It was either you and Andy. I think there was maybe. All right. Hopefully Joe Mayo would be watching. I think Joe Mayo is the man that doesn't like figure of 8. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. And please, if I'm wrong, Joe, I apologize.
He's not the biggest fan of Flowers in the Dirt in general, but I do think he likes figure of 8.
Okay, good. Then, Joe, you know I love you. It was so great seeing all of you at the Fest with Beatle fans. You know, even though we had been going for years, but not connecting that way. And to hang with Joe, and of course, and Mikey Rugula, Frank, and all that Mr. Sticker Mania was so thrilling to me. All right, so please subscribe to the Playhouse.
Yes, yes. Please head over to Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse and subscribe, and you'll see all this kind of stuff in his videos.
A little Hey Jude bear. See, this is again new stuff. Anything from the last time. But again, I loved it because it had the Apple tag on it. So when you know that they sanction it anyway. But when they do that, the thing, it has the actual reproduction of the sleeve. It says the Beatles on Apple.
Yeah. I
thought that was unique. And there's a set of 4 of these. But we only brought out the one specifically for Paul Hey Jude today. Here in the Playhouse.
Patrick says, good guest. So good job, Paul.
Yes, maybe we should read some comments, Tom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
This is your show, but I'm so pleased and honored to be here, Tom. I really am.
This is your time. I want you to have time to and talk about what it is you do and your love for Beatles fans. This is one of the things that we love to do, hear other people's stories, you know. So glad you're here. Glad you're here.
It's lifelong for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are people saying? Because I can't see the comments unless you bring them up.
No, that's all right. Well, there's a lot of dispute about Monkeys fandom, and I don't want to get.
Oh, jeez. All right.
But anyways, you did a show. Yeah, you did a show a few months ago that I really enjoyed about 45 holding container, or whatever you want to call them. That I really like.
Record cases.
Record cases. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. You know, you had like the blue, you had the blue, the purple, the yellow, and all the different.
That was episode 14. That was number 14 of the Playhouse.
Yeah.
We start with the Beatles. I didn't bring any out because I said nothing is just Paul specific on those. But the Beatles disco cases that they made, the plastic they were talking about, you stack your records, and because then the picture sleeves would be ruined. And
yes,
and they came in 7 colors. I do have 6 out of the 7. The brown is the most difficult one to find then and now, or now and then. And then we graduated to me, there's a great similarity between how record cases became pop culture collectibles and lunchboxes. And I did make this discussion in episode 14 there, where the lunchbox was just a standard workman's lunchbox with no funny graphics or anything. And then they started slowly putting TV shows on lunchboxes. And that's, of course, when they became such an exciting collectible for kids. But, you know, I have a Hogan's Heroes lunchbox at the Dome. And I always think like, all right, I mean, it's nothing to do with the content of Hogan's Heroes, but I just can't imagine a child carrying his Hogan's Heroes lunchbox to school at that point. You know, you could see, and they were not tailored to children or anything. Right. There's a Get Smart one.
Beat up walking to school for having a Hogan's Heroes lunchbox or something.
There's a Get Smart.
My grandpa said we won that war.
So to the record cases, so that's when, like, from how lunchboxes transitioned, so did record cases. And so I have a Dick Clark American Bandstand case, and it has a nice decal on it. And then, of course, then they would start putting instruments or old record players on them as I glance. I love Playhouse has a lot of records, as I'm sure a lot of members do out there.
Yep.
But I love putting them. The disco cases, of course, just on display. I don't use anything that would take away from the original die cut.
I always felt like those domes or whatever, the ones you were just talking about, it's like
disco cases.
Disco cases. They ruin. I mean, you stacking them up on each other. It kind of in a way ruins the record.
Oh yes, and then if you're using, as I said, then what happens? Whether it was a die cut sleeve or not, you know, not a picture sleeve,
right?
But then the record, where's the picture sleeve? That's where I think that it's why picture sleeves are so of any artist are not found as much as when you find. You know, I go to collector shows still all the time, and you see a record case, and it's just full of, I would say, then naked records, like without any sleeves, just in a case. Never mind using the disco cases where it was just
the disco cases wouldn't have worked in the UK because the UK you don't have the bigger hole. They have the vinyl goes until the really small hole, and then they don't have it cut out for the adapter that we use here in the States.
Take it to 2025. And that's where I was talking about on my Capitol Records one, where I call the Capitol 45s are a bunch of holes. All right. And that is number 16, by the way, everyone. But I lament about, because I got recently, the 60th anniversary, I Want to Hold Your Hand. But any like modern 7-inch vinyl record you buy does mirror now, because there are no adapters I know on modern day record players, unlike what I'm doing here in the Playhouse. But yes, you could see that you could possibly punch it out, which is the way it was and still is. But
as you can see, this is from Argentina, like I said, and you can tell that there is a line. You can tell where the press is,
right?
If you went closer, But again, I tend to like these more. Than with the whole press, and then using that adapter is fine, but I always thought that was stupid. I mean, this is why are you cutting out the vinyl when you don't have to?
It's true, Tom, because going back to how the record players were, you could still, just like an album, you could, if they all had the small hole, which again, we're talking about the spindle hole is what they officially call it. Yes, you could have stacked 45s if they didn't have a big hole, and they would have dropped down just like your LPs.
Exactly.
100% agree with you.
Susan here says this show is very interesting. Uncle Paul's memorabilia collection is awesome, not to mention extensive. Thanks for sharing.
Well, thank you, Susan. And I know that I read your comments all the time when I'm watching Two Legs Here with Tom on Wednesdays. and Andy on Sundays, where I do miserably on the trivia generally. Yes, I know Susan's very good with the trivia, by the way.
Yeah,
thumbs up.
So I want to talk a little bit about Press to Play. I'm going to give this book away here a little bit.
I love Press to Play.
Are you a Press to Play fan?
Yes, 100%. Right from the video, the first single, obviously, with Press. I think that album rocks. I love hard McCartney, as I call it. I remember that slightly, again, all right, I'm an MTV kid, August 1st, 1981. First video was Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star.
There you go. Yep.
And shout out to Nina Blackwood and Mark Goodman. But they made the big deal when a video came out back then. So when like the Press video was coming out, they would be running a 30-second commercial all week saying they would call it a world premiere video.
Right.
They'd be showing you just tiny little clips in 30-second commercial. And then you had to wait like till Friday to see the video. I remember though, like, all right, God, again, Paul McCartney was always just so cool to me, just like he is to this day. And the Press video, I was like, oh, this is so cool. But then slightly in my heart, again, at that point, I was slightly disappointed in it. Maybe you wanted. That was the time where they were really, I think they were almost making songs to make videos. As we know, there were a lot of, MTV only had like 8 videos. There's artists when they first signed on. They would play like Rod Stewart on the REO Speed.
Rod Stewart, right.
REO Speedwagon was a big one. Right. Whoever just had a lot of videos in their canon would make the rotation.
But it's funny who ends up getting played or not, because look, the Rolling Stones had a lot of videos.
Yes,
at that time. Paul McCartney had a ton of videos up to that point in time. But I seem to remember, Rod Stewart getting played a lot, and even throughout the 80s, because
Hot Legs and Do You Think I'm Sexy?
Absolutely.
Young Turks.
Young Turks. Yeah, I love that song.
The big that resurgence, even though he never went away.
Yes.
But valleys, ups and downs. But yes, Rod Stewart, that period, just like the Stones, very much so. I remember, again, that was. You have to remember, not for you, Tom. We're talking to the audience because I know you know everything as well. And meaning you couldn't see. There was no way to see the Beatles videos. In fact, half the time in 1980, 81, you didn't know exactly again how many were made. I only learned about the Intertel videos probably about 82, 83. Where you got them on the gray black market. But MTV. That's why we're so blessed now that everything's just there, and that they also that Apple officially put them out on the one DVD there. But MTV, I swear this happened. They must have, you could see Beatle videos and Matthew Mystery Tour if you went to like a midnight showing, and it was always unauthorized at your local theater back then. And that was the only way you could see these things. And so MTV advertised a 90-minute midnight Beatles spectacular. And they ran the commercial all week. Somewhere I still have it on a VHS. And they're showing fast clips of Strawberry Fields, Penny Lane. It's like, now I even knew back then that this was rare, and I didn't know how they were going to play it. Right. And soon enough, when that Saturday at midnight came, they didn't say a word, and it didn't happen. Oh. But I have the commercial. So Apple had to put the kibosh on it.
Right. Yeah. They had to have. Yeah, that's sad.
That was around the time where the complete Beatles came out. And that was like the first big, oh my God, Delilah Films there, MGM, that we were going to get to see at least snippets of it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Peter Letty said he will subscribe.
Thank you, Peter Letty, so much. Anyone that's joining the Playhouse, so much. I appreciate it. All right, Susan.
Susan says, it almost brings me to tears to think that we are not likely to get the remaining albums up to Flaming Pie in the Archives edition. I completely agree with you.
So
I think the Archives are done.
Back to the egg in London Town.
I think they're done. I don't think we're going to get
I'm afraid I'm going to have to. I think that's the case too.
Yeah, it's sad that London Town and Back to the Egg weren't included in these SHM CD series that's been coming out.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Does that give you hope then, Tom? Because to me that is odd that he didn't include those.
He didn't give so again that tells me that he just doesn't want anything to do with these albums. That's what that tells me.
But it's Wings, and he's I know how much he embraces Band on the Run. We continue.
Yeah,
that's the part. That's the only part to me that maybe that's why they're holding it back. Like obviously with Back to the Egg, talk about when we're going back to Flaming Pie about a treasure trove of videos that we know there's videos to almost every song on Back to the Egg.
Oh, look at there's could be so much X bonus features and extra tracks that he could be putting on London Town and Back to the Egg. There's a multiple Mulligan Tire videos that could go on there. For London Town. But yeah, I applaud Beatletone. He still has hopes that the archive series will continue. And look, and I've continued to say that I want to be wrong about this, but it's been 5 years since the last archive release. And that's just that to me that just says they don't want anything to do with the Capitol being the ones that don't want nothing to do with these box sets, which is a shame. Because they can bring them down a little bit. They don't have to be so elaborate like the last ones were. They don't have to be as expensive. So
all right, let me and that's it. Now I know how passionate, and I'm the same way about lining everything up, in particular order on the shelf. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a choice, Tom. Which one would you? Well, obviously, you'd probably like the full archives of both of them. All right, meaning if they did, like you just said, that's okay. If they did like a smaller, like how the John Lennon estate does it,
exactly, like, right.
Small. But what if there was a large? Then I know you'd love anything, but like a twofer, as it was rumored for a while, of London Town Back to the Egg.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is because I know that's what they probably wanted to do. They probably wanted to release, make them available separately and then house them in one box like they did with the Big Barn box with Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway. That it just makes sense for them to do that because there's a market for it. People still want those, right? And, and my friend Tony says it's nuts thinking he doesn't want anything to do with these albums yet. They released McCartney 2, Pipes of Peace and Choba. Yes, I get it. I get it. But again, McCartney 2, I think was number 1 in the UK, and I think it was number 2 or 3 here in the States. Pipes of Peace, again, it didn't do well here, so it's it can't be about chart positioning, right? Because Wildlife didn't do that great. And
then they had the big boxes to talk about. Now the big the super deluxe. That was only available on the Macca website, correct? I know I got it. I did buy it.
No, yeah, you did buy the super deluxe flaming pie.
The one that comes with like Wings Over the World. The super.
The Big Barn box. You did get that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So that was only on his website, though. See, I don't remember anyone. That was only on the website. Tom.
Yes, you could only get that on the website. Yes.
Do you think maybe they could do? Meaning, even if they didn't want to release them big, they could do them exclusive versions on the website of London Town.
Right, exactly. And that's what I think they should be just doing, just release them separately. But to me, it just makes sense to put those two together. Excuse me.
Yes.
Lynn says that is crazy. I love London Town, Back to the Egg. I never listened to Choba. She's probably saying. But yeah, I don't listen to it. I buy every copy that comes out, but I barely listen to it because I think the production on it is terrible.
I'm with you, Tom.
Yeah. Tony wants to know if you're going to go to the Chicago Fest.
Oh, I am itching so much. But because I know, a lot of my YouTuber friends will be there. And the short answer is no, I've never been to a Chicago Fest, but I would love to. But, certain things prohibit it.
Yeah. No, understood. So,
I'll be in the Jersey one again, though. Whenever the rooms go on sale in September and the hotel sells out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, but yeah, again, the last time Back to the Egg in London Town was reissued was in '93 for the Paul McCartney collection, but that was only UK. You could get them here via import, but it's just odd to me that whether or not he just has bad memories of these albums or he just doesn't like, because London Town was number two here in the States.
First time I saw both of those videos, With a Little Luck in London Town.
Yeah.
I remember. All right. I watched Soul Train when he was on doing With a Little Luck. And that was such a big deal at the time that a African American artist
was well, Bowie was on there as well. I remember Bowie was on there
David
for Young
Bowie.
Americans, I think.
Oh, yeah. Now you're bringing me back to other stories. I digress so easily. I got to be with David Bowie for like a minute and a half when he was at the Bottom Line in around 1982, attending an Uncle Floyd show. And Uncle Floyd was in big New Jersey comedian, much in this vein of Super Cells. David Bowie did a song about Uncle Floyd even. He's always been a big fan. Oh, he told John Lennon about Uncle Floyd back in the day. So he's at a table in the Bottom Line and no one's noticing him. And my sister and mother noticed. And we walked up to him. I have a few 4x6. We had a camera because we were seeing Uncle Floyd, but we got to take David Bowie's picture and he signed something. And then literally 90 seconds later, we're the only ones that got to approach him. Then the security made sure no one bothered David Bowie. So that's my David Bowie story.
Very good. Very good. All right, let's get back to Press to Play.
Yes.
Other songs on
yes.
Press to Play that you enjoy?
I love Press to Play. I blast that, my original vinyl, probably a couple times a month here in the Playhouse. I love that. Yes, and I said I love the video. I'd say 70% of the songs are just on random repeat for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like half. There's other half that I don't really care for. I
love Forever Absurd. Forever. What do you think of Forever Absurd?
However Absurd. Not one of my favorites. Not one of my favorites.
I like the pounding of that.
Move Over Busker again was not one of my favorites.
Love it. You say all the songs, and can I do this?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, I'm excited.
Stranglehold.
Yeah, right.
Okay, see
that's on the video too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the drummer Jerry Murata on the show many years ago. Because he was the drummer on Press to Play. So when they did the video for Stranglehold, Paul wanted him to be part of the video. So he told the story of that video shoot, and he said that the video director was coked out of his mind, and it was just a crazy video shoot. So, but anyways,
Can I leave for a second? I'm gonna get my Japanese VHS tape.
Yes,
right here.
Go ahead. Yes, go. Yes.
All right, everything in an arm's reach here in the Playhouse. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. Excellent.
Once upon So go ahead. We're gonna do thumbs up. Here we go. And we'll get to
well, Beatles Tony says he's never found a way to love, however absurd. And Tony
always a matter of opinion.
Does nothing. Yeah, exactly. What is?
Let's go through the tracks, Tom.
Yeah. So Stranglehold.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do this real fast.
Let me get a copy here because I don't remember the order. Okay, here we go. So, Good Times Come, Feel the Sun.
Yeah, I have to be honest. How they still held up. Yep.
Wow. See, right off the bat, I love those two tracks. Right off the bat. Okay. All right. Here's the first one that I'm not the big fan of. Talk More Talk.
I can't believe it. I have to be totally honest with you.
See, you love all the 80 production stuff already. It sounds like. Okay, Footprints.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
This is great, Tom. Now.
Yeah.
I love opinions because that's what they are.
Yeah, that's right. Only Love Remains.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. I appreciate that. I have a 7 inch.
Okay. So then you got side 2 starts with Press.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty Little Head.
Oh.
See now, but I love the 12-inch single.
And the video is on here. Pretty Little Head.
Yes,
I love that video as well. And then on the video, it starts with "She's Leaving Home."
Yes.
They have a snippet of that.
Yep. That's the only version that has that little snippet of "She's Leaving Home." Yeah.
Yes.
And then we got Move Over Busker, which you already gave a thumbs up to. And then you got probably one of the biggest letdowns of a trio that Paul had, McCartney, Pete Townsend, Phil Collins on Angry.
I'm a sucker.
And then the album ends absurdly with However Absurd.
Yep.
See, there you go. So
I think I hit by, again, like I was saying, off the top of my head, it was like at least 70% of that album I love.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. But when you're playing your vinyl, there's no skipping or lifting up the tone arm. So
exactly.
And I have a CD player. I have a CD player in my car to this day, and I hope my car never gives up. It's good.
Same here. Same here.
I love bringing which CD I'm going to play in the car and choose the music that way.
Yep. Billy Tone says that Footprints is a forgotten Macca classic. I highly agree. Susan says, I'm not a fan of Choba. I love Paul. That Paul did something special for his Russian fans. The Soviet. Yep.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Tony says, to get.
Yeah. You could get it if you were a fan of Club Sandwich. You could get it before it went officially on sale.
Okay. Yeah. Because right away there were copies, bootlegs that were identical. Yeah. Very hard to identify at that time.
Yeah. Right. B. Letty says Only Love Remains is great.
Yes. Nice video to that, right? I think there's a video.
Well, he did a live performance.
Okay.
I think.
I also love. I don't want to digress. We keep going to the comments. All right. What do you think of Waterfalls, real fast, in that video? See, I love the effects of that type of stuff at that point. And I am not. I am not
the biggest fan of Waterfalls.
Respect.
I think Only Love Remains. He did it on TV. I forgot the name of the
right
the show.
Maybe that was on the McCartney Years DVD collection. It might have been there somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta take a look.
Yeah.
Tony says Choba is great. Very good. Okay. B. Letty says Move or Busker. Very good. So you got one there. Lynn says, I really like Footprints, Only Love Remains, Press, and Even However Served. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Beetle Eddie says Angry is okay. Okay. We got Kent here. Kent, how you doing, buddy? On my way to London, naturally visiting Abbey Road and Soho Square, MPL. All the best. Well,
wow.
Paul may still be there. I don't know if he's back in New York yet or not, but we know he was there for the Bruce show and for Lipa.
Yeah, you were
You
were live, right, with Joe Mayo when I made a comment like Paul just did "Can't Buy Me Love."
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And that was happening the other night.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Joe teased you. It's like, aren't you supposed to be somewhere else then, Tom?
Yeah, I know.
See, I watch.
Yeah, you do. No, I'm impressed. Yes. Okay. Susan says I have a Russian copy of Choba. Okay. That's Charlie. Tony says Footprints is one of many examples of fantastic songs about lovely people. Okay. I love Footprints. I think it's a beautiful song. Nice.
It is. It's playing in my head now.
Yeah. Lee says Warm and Beautiful is Beatle worthy.
It's nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Okay. Stranglehold is outstanding. Very good.
I like Stranglehold better as a song than the video, but I think the video made a big imprint on me.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Tony says here, Footprints is one of Paul's best songs about lonely. Oh, I think I got that one already. Okay. Only Love Remains. On the Royal. Yeah, he's on the Royal Command Performance Show. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice, Beatly Tone. Beatly Tone.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. I know he's a Playhouse member. I know already.
Yes. Kent, when you get to MPL, don't forget to stand outside with you. We want the archives. Yes. Yes. Mr. Brooks might be out there too.
I loved all the coverage you guys were doing when Paul was at the Bowery. Such an exciting.
Thank you. Yeah.
But then to have, to be yelling like Yvonne, that's where it goes back to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what made me find my 7-inch again and start playing Yvonne on non-stop repeat.
Yeah.
We didn't show the soda can.
Yeah, go ahead. Show something else. What do you got?
Yeah, we didn't show the soda can. So this was from Mexico.
Yes.
This is a photo from the New World Tour. I got it goes back to 1993. But a real Coke can. Oh, I would love that they did that here, but that's a prized possession of the Playhouse. We got it on the secondary market, but I love the soda can.
Yeah, very good. Okay, just send it. I'll give you my address, and you can mail it to me when you're ready. Lynn says I did like the remix of Pretty Little Head better than the album. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I have there's a 12-inch of that, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
I have all those 12-inch remixes. The things they did in those days. I found like this one. It comes with it's a 7-inch, but for this one, it's in a hard folder, and it comes with postcards. It's so elaborate.
Yes, I have both of those. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Beatles, yes. The book by Luca Perazzi, Press to Play, is about the album. You know, he's got interviews with Jerry Marotta, the drummer. He's got an interview with Hugh Padgham, the producer. You know, we are a source in the book, so thank you, Luca, for noticing Two Legs and recognizing us and putting us in the book. We really appreciate that. Ali is in the house. Ali, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. So Press to Play is a lot of fun. Okay, so if you want the book, please now say so in the comment section if you want to win this copy.
Almost like the first one, Tom? Is that how you're doing it?
No. What I'm going to do is everybody that wants the book, I'll write your name down and we'll pick your name out of a.
Oh, I wish I had
a Paul McCartney hat.
Right. I wish I had my Peanuts bowl with me.
Right. There you go.
But that's in another part of the Playhouse right now.
Right. If you want to win this copy of the book, please write your name in the comment. So we got Mike. Okay. Mike W.
I think you're gonna practically have everyone that's watching, Tom, I think.
Right. Beetle Eddie. All right, who else wants to win a copy? Come on, it can't be more. It just can't be the two here. Come on.
Oh no, there's got to be more.
Come on, guys.
How many are watching on this lovely Wednesday afternoon?
Well, right now we're at 28, but we were up to about almost 50.
But then I bored
for a while.
I bored them away.
I wasn't going to go that far, but Sun Dodger. Okay. Wants to. Yeah, that's fine. Ali, I'll send to the UK. So we got Ali. We got Aisha. Is that how you spell your name or pronounce your name? And how are you? Thanks for being here. Can there be more than one? I only have one copy of the book. Yes. So I'm going to fold these up.
Oh, all right. Wait a minute. We need a drum roll or something.
No, hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on there. We're gonna fold all these up first. If you still want there and you still want to win a copy, there's still time to write if you want one. Let's see here. Lee says, out of all the low-rated Beatles solo records, Press to Play is still better than Somewhere New York City, Extra Texture, Driving Rain.
All right. Well, that's too much. That's too much of a debate, I think. that can of worms needs to remain sealed, Tom.
Yes. Ali says, I love Press to Play album. I don't think the singles were necessarily good singles. That can be fair. Although I think Press was a fantastic single.
What was the? Let me quiz you that. What was the B-side to Press?
What was the B-side to Press?
Oh my God!
No, it was. Damn it!
I'm sorry, Tom, but
no.
Between the two of us, I
remember.
Yes.
Was it? I'll give you a ring.
All right. I have. I'll give you the ring though on Columbia. I know. So then I would think no, because that wasn't a Columbia album.
No. I'm sorry. Yeah. Not. I'll give you a ring. It was the other one. Right away.
Yes. Okay. I would go with that. If anyone wants to comment on that and check their record cases.
Yes.
I loved when they sweet when the Tom Fern Jones or somebody played an obscure.
It's not true. It's not true.
Oh, I knew that was. See those B-sides. I love them just as much as the A side. Yes.
Yeah. Tim says, Tom, if I won the book, would I have to read it? Yes. Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. How you doing, Tim? Thanks for popping in. But okay, so that I guess that's going to be it right now. So we're going to pick
All right.
a name out of the hat. Yeah, here we go. Not looking. Not looking. Okay, here we go. We got a winner. We got a winner, and the winner is Sun Dodger. There you go. Congratulations, my friend.
That's very nice, Tom. The Wednesday afternoon giveaway.
Yes, the Wednesday afternoon. Two Legs podcast at Gmail. All right, so email me at two legs podcast at gmail.com. You are the winner, my friend. Okay, and then just leave your address, and I'll send it your way. All right. So
that was very nice. It was very nice of you, Tom. It really was.
Yes. Not a problem. So, Paul, let's talk about your channel a little bit more before we go. Do you want to let's plug it one more time? So, plug away, my friend.
Yeah. So it's Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse, and it's a myriad of. We have 20 episodes up right now. When I put it together, definitely it's a throwback to the television shows of yesteryear. It's so kind when people comment saying like, "Oh, this reminds me of," I don't even want to say. So I'm going to put a big but here that the names I'm going to say, there's nowhere near, but I feel so honored. And again, I'm being as sincere as possible. When people say like, "Oh, it reminds me of Mr. Rogers or Pee Wee Herman, Soupy Sales." Yes, locally, Uncle Floyd, all those kid shows of the past. Yes, obviously, I had that in mind. I didn't have one in particular when I put together my Playhouse. It was just, again, when I was telling the story about when it was Beatles Pop and Playhouse and stuff, that in dropping the ampersand, that the Pop Playhouse just went after I was thinking about all the names before. So I wasn't even influenced, to be honestly, from previous Playhouses or whatever. It just worked for me. But I love them all those shows. That again, because that's what I grew up with. I am doing an episode on just Soupy Sales memorabilia. My criteria is I have to have at least 10 or 12 items to show. And then I write them down in my little Farrah Fawcett 1970s spiral notebook.
Where is that? Now, why didn't you show that?
Okay, you challenged me, and
what
I will.
What are we doing over here? Come on.
She's somewhere. There she is. Okay. Oh, no. See, the Playhouse doesn't lie.
Yes. Oh, there. It's the classic. It's the classic Farrah photo right there.
So here it is. I was just at it's not really going to be number 46, but it's written here 46 Soupy Sales. And then I write the items that I have. And with Soupy, it wound up to be like 15 items. I like to, obviously, with Soupy, everything's going to be original anyway, the board game. And I loved all of Soupy's music. Everyone obviously thinks of the mouse right away and things like that. But so that number, just in my head, 46. I want to first thank my producer there. That's why at the end of every episode, I say, "Thanks, Joe Friday." And that is my good friend of 45 years. I admit I was in the television field. That was my career. I spent 40 years in the television business. Hello, Mike Nair, by the way, who's my buddy.
Yes.
We worked together at one point. So, yes, 40 years in the television business. And I just decided that, I was never in front of the camera or whatever. But my good friend, I'm not going to say his real name, but of 45 years, he shoots the Playhouse. And we do about 6 or 7 segments in a day, like what real television does with game shows generally, or shit like that. So, and then I try and do everything in one take. I will admit that, because time is precious. And when you're doing 6 or 7 different setups at the same time, like depending on the memorabilia that I'm going to show. Yes, the main wall doesn't change, but we do it in other locations of the Playhouse. So I have to have all those setups for the day that we record, I should say, because, everything is digital. I keep saying everyone uses the word tape, or of course, a lot of people would say, oh, we're filming, which none of them were using film most of the time. But so I will just say digitally record. And we shoot in 4K. It's one beautiful Panasonic Lumix camera. And so again, he's too humble. We do fast little editing that he does, that he sends it to me. And so that's why I say thanks, Joe Friday, because we've always been a great fan of the Dragnet TV series, to be honest with you. I love the color versions of Dragnet, if anyone has seen that version. With Bill Gannon and Jack Webb as the incredible Joe Friday. So for 45 years, we've been joking, and we call ourselves Joe and Bill. So that's why I say thanks, Joe Friday thing. I could not do the Playhouse without him. And I know, hopefully, if he's still watching, he knows how much it means to me. So I write down all the episodes here. We shoot them, again, 7 in a day. So everything like the number 20, that was shot like 2 or 3 months ago. We do some fast editing. Like I said, like add a little effects, because I love the effects, because that's, again, the TV part in my heart of it. And I'd be honest with you, I'm having a ball with it. And I would appreciate anyone that's watching, please just give me a try. And if you like it, then please subscribe. I want to get to the point where I'm not counting subscribers. I'm under 400 at this point. But again, I'm thrilled, because I am much further than I ever thought I would be. And this has only been since October of 2024. Everyone says, oh, and it's not about being YouTube monetized. I'm going to make that clear as well. If I eventually get $5 a month, I'll be thrilled. We're not doing it to be monetized or money. And I bless anyone that is doing very successful with that. But it's a passion project. And to see the final product, and even though it's going to be up forever each episode, I just would think like, oh, I want it. Anyone could think, oh, I want as many people as possible to see this. But then at the same time, I have certain, as you know, Tom, right, loyal viewers that have been with me, like they found me like by November 1st. Like my first episode, which still astounds me, has over 1,000 views. And I know in the YouTube world, that's not much. But like I was nobody. Like, how did they find me? But thanks to you and my little, the thing I do at the beginning of every episode, our very special hellos, I designed that around the YouTube channels. And obviously, Two Legs was that at the beginning. And the very special hellos that we do are very special hellos. The original special hellos, but still to this day, I say like hello to Two Legs, Andy, and Tom. But again, those were the channels that I was watching before I started doing this.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. So that's why I started doing that. And now, yes, it's wonderful. The people leave in the comments to have a very special hello. And I said, it amazes me to, when something new goes out, to think like, wow, anyone in the world can see this. Doesn't mean they are seeing it, but that they can. And I know, Tom, how much you know and have that feeling.
Yes.
Again, how long have you been doing it, Tom? If may I ask again?
Started the show in 2016, so it's coming up on our 9th anniversary here. So so it's again, it's kind of, when you say that, it's just like, it's hard to believe that it's been, but before we sign off, Paul, I mean, what do you have a favorite?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what do you have you have a favorite Beach Boys song?
God only knows, and that is true.
Yeah, okay.
I have the 7-inch of that. Yes, God only knows, definitely.
Cool. I think wouldn't it be nice would probably maybe be mine. So, but were you going to say something?
Yes.
Yeah. Were you going to say
something? Are you
something?
planning a big Paul McCartney birthday show, by the way, next Wednesday, Tom?
Oh well, it's funny you just say. Funny you just asked, because I mean it is next Wednesday, so I'm gonna, Andy and I'm sure Andy and I will be talking. And we'll be discussing what we might do, and then obviously, and then speaking of our friends, there's Joe Mayo right there.
Joe, I'm
Don't worry,
thrilled
baby.
that you're here.
His favorite.
My buddy, everyone is. Yeah. But again, Joe, I had such fun with you at the fest. We went to the auction. We all sat together on Saturday night at the auction. Me, Frank, Mikey Arugula, Joe Mayo, and myself watching the auction from the 6th row. It was a blast.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So I'm gonna stick around for if you have time, you can stick around for like 16 more minutes. We'll sign off right at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, no, I could.
With that,
if you want to have me for 16 minutes, I would be honored there, Tom.
Okay, so if anybody got any more questions or comments, we'll read those for we'll make this an even 2-hour. Joe says great time at the fest. Yes. And then obviously we got the man, the myth, the legend that is Joe Mayo.
Yeah. I asked Joe. I said, "How did you get your subs up?" But it's like I didn't realize what Joe has been. No matter, it's a great personality he is, but he's been doing this for such a long time, over a decade.
That's right. Yeah. And he's got a great following. He's got people that make great comments for him. So he's definitely doing something right. People like his rants and people like his honesty. Especially with the reviews and stuff like that. So
he's got the movie channel now. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I know you're being Joe's being humble, which is you don't have to be, Joe. Ask Joe about his new glasses. Oh, I don't have to do that. So, anyways, so okay. Well, what did you talk about? I'll just your monkeys episode you did last week. What was that all about?
All right, so back to, I'm very proud of that episode because just like when I did the Yellow Submarine stuff, all right, which is Yellow Submarine is 18. We only showed original. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of this. I was talking about the Yellow Submarine binder that comes, the loose leaf binder that comes with the notebook and everything else. But for the monkeys, episode 20, that just came out. And by the way, yes, I'm proudly wearing, you can hardly see it, but I'm wearing the Two Legs t-shirt that Tom and Andy gave me at the Best for Beatles Fans. In it, I wear a different t-shirt. That's the only thing.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. First of all, Joe, you can't do that. I mean, comparing monkeys and Kiss, you can't. It's apples and oranges because we all know that the Monkees started off as a TV show to pay tribute to
Hard Day's Night.
To a Hard Day's Night. So there is no comparing Monkees to Kiss. We just there's Monkees is the Kiss is a band that formed as individuals and not as TV executives.
Yeah.
So that's
I think everyone
you can agree with that, Paul?
Yes, I think they're talking about the New Monkees, which we all hate.
Oh, the New.
If anyone remembers, there actually was a TV series, The New Monkees, 4 different
nets. Okay.
So anyway, number 20, we show all. Obviously, I have new stuff, but we only show original stuff. So we get to show the tambourine from the 60s, the finger puppets, the cereal box records still on the cereal boxes, which everyone seems to love. And no, the cereal is not in those boxes anymore. I was wise enough to take the cereal out, but all original Monkees memorabilia and the puzzle. There's a few stuff behind me. Yes. A lot of fun. I don't know. I've always loved the Monkees, watching them. That was a summer treat for me. My local, again, WNEW, Channel 5 in New York, generally because there was only 58 or 9 episodes, right, of the Monkees, 2 seasons, that would only be a weekdays at 4:30 type thing in the mid-70s in syndication. Okay, my sister also was a big Monkees fan. She was an original. My sister was 5 years older than me, so she got to experience.
She got to experience them on real time.
We were very close, but I remember, yes, she loved everything. Yes, but I was fortunate enough to try to show. Yeah, it took me. That's right. So I show an 8x10 that has all 4 Monkey signatures on the same picture. And when I was doing the research for the Playhouse episode, it took me 31 years for that. I was carrying that photo around to each monkey for 31 years. And oddly, when I started writing down the years, I realized that I worked or met a monkey to get a signature about every 10 years.
Wow.
It took. Yes. Davey was the first, then Peter, then Mickey. And of course, we know how hard it was to get Michael Nesmith's autograph for a while until the elusive Mike Nesmith did come out. But I had great times. I said, I'm not name dropping, but I already said that I did work in TV. Either when I was working with them on a semi level, okay, for if we were doing a production or something, like Mickey Dolenz, I got to meet when he was on Broadway doing Aida. It had nothing to do with the Monkees. Right. But yes, eventually I would bring my 8x10 and say, "Oh, Mickey, can you sign this?" But they also
but companies do frown upon.
Oh no, when you know it, Tom, exactly.
Yes.
You know, if you're working with them, and I know, Tom, you have then plenty of great stories with that. And I say this during the Monkey Playhouse episode that actually I chickened out. I was working with Davy Jones, all right, real fast at the New Jersey State Fair, and I had brought the thermos from the original lunchbox with me that had a couple autographs already on it. And I knew, I mean, not that Davey was not giving me any bad vibes. I was enough of a professional, I must say, that I couldn't bring the thermos out, and I didn't do it, even though I was right there sitting with him and talking with him. He was about to do a performance, and I was in his trailer. And I tell the story, so I'm not saying anything out of school. Davey, he has no shirt on, and he says, "Oh, Paul, come on in." So I'm thinking, and I don't say this on the Playhouse episode. And I said we love Davey, but it's just a fact. The smell of alcohol is in the trailer. He's about to do a concert. So here I am sitting with whatever. I don't know if he was half inebriated or not, but it did seem like it. I love Davey. I'm not saying anything bad. A shirtless, half inebriated Davy Jones, and I still could not bring out the thermos. Which is like, okay, where is it? It's like, all right, I'm gonna get it. All right, oh, no, if I get it,
please do.
Please. I didn't put on the long pants because it's hot here in the Playhouse. There's no air conditioning, and I don't even have the fan going on because I wanted the audio to be as good as possible. Yes,
fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, watch number 20, everyone, if you want to hear the Davy Jones story.
Yeah, that's fantastic because I've ran into a lot of musicians. And some of them want to talk, but again, it's kind of frowned upon even talking to them, let alone asking for an autograph. But yeah, I mean, some of them want to talk to you. I remember talking to Weird Al Yankovic for 20 minutes, over breakfast, while I was working the breakfast for him for his show. And it's just like they want to talk to you, but and they a lot of them tell great stories and they're friendly.
But I think that even cements it more. That they feel that it said you're all on the same level at that point, even though the celebrity is better than any of us. But then, like, no matter how friendly and wonderful they're being, like in your heart, it's like, well, now I definitely can't ask him for an autograph.
Exactly, because you don't want to be that guy. But
I can't turn into fanboy when we're just sitting casually having a conversation.
Right. Because now you've established yourself. I mean, you kind of established yourself as
and that ruins it more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That goes back to my buddy Mike Nair, and I know you had him on. Yeah. With that incredible Saturday Night Live story that he had, that he gets to spend with McCartney, get his picture with him. But of course, see, that was a story where he told, of course, that being a part of the crew for SNL, don't approach anybody, and he knows that because he's such a professional. That's why he really lucked me out with that.
But see, then again, we've got people like Paul that are for the most part, obviously there are times when celebrities don't want anything to do with anybody, as I mean, I remember working a show for Jeff Rotull, and Ian wanted nothing to do with anybody while he was in the cafeteria to eat, or wherever you want, the eating area.
Right.
So there's some people like that, but then where Paul, where he does seem to be friendly a lot of times during the behind the scenes situations with cameramen and makeup art, and costumes and whatever. So, So, Mark, yes, we were talking about Brian earlier in the show, and it is sad. I think Joe Mayo just put out a tribute to Brian Wilson.
All right, very nice.
While we're Paul and I have been talking. So, fan of the movie Head from the Monkees.
I have to kind of appreciate how that movie for some creativity, Jack Nicholson and Annette Funicello being in it and things like that. But I think the Monkees actually got and again, I could say this as a fan. That I think they just got way off the track at that point, and they didn't even know what Head was going to turn out to be. And I think most fans would say this, I would have much rather had a third season of the Monkees. I think the Monkees were again, I love them, but I think they were very self-destructive at times.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of the best things they've done, and I know Jack was a writer. I mean, whatever that was for, if there was writing on that movie, I don't know if you want to call it that or not.
Right. I mean, for what it is, Mark. All right, Porpoise song. All right, what do you think of Porpoise song? I love that.
I don't mind that. That's one of the ones that I still enjoy. Like I went through a big monkey phase, right? I had the music. I saw them live when they did one of their anniversary tours. Hold on one second here. I watched the TV show just like everybody else did in the 70s, on reruns.
Right.
So I had my phase of the Monkees. I just don't think they're as timeless as was what some people think they are. I mean, I had for me it was just a phase. Okay, their music didn't stick with me. Now I think Mickey Dolenz I think he's a great lead singer. I think he was the best. I love his vocals better than any of the four. So I thought his vocals on the singles are the ones that I tend to enjoy the most. Last Train to Clarksville.
Yes. I think the producers definitely Kirshner. They recognize that Mickey was the best singer at that time.
Right. Yeah. So, again, like I said, I had my phase. I enjoyed them at one part in my life. But, like other music, you tend to move on,
I love the fact, we didn't learn this till later on when we got to see the videos or just hear more stories. I love the fact that the Beatles were so aware of the Monkees and even considered them friends. John saying the famous line, more like the Marx Brothers. And then again with Michael Nesmith being the day in the life, he was there for the sessions and Mickey's So now learn that later on in retrospect, like wow, the Beatles knew of the Monkees and liked them.
Right. And then I think that's why you see a lot of Beatles fans as Monkey fans. I mean,
absolutely, yes.
But then you have the people of your generation that were probably a little older, like your sister, okay, that maybe have moved on from the Beatles around that 67 when when the Beatles are coming out with Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane and and stuff like that, and it's not teeny bopper stuff,
To me, so the Monkees' major output we know only lasted like 2 or 3 years. And to me, there's always room for everyone, even what I remember. But I could tell the difference when they got into me, like when I hear Star Collector or Randy Scousgate or whatever, to me, that's like the Monkees entering their Pepper era.
Right.
And that was the time they were producing it.
Right.
And yes, Last Train to Clarksville, and all right, don't anybody gang up on me, but like just that early stuff is like then I won't even name songs. It's like the Beatles' earlier period in 64.
Right. So there's that there's the Beatle book by Candy Leonard called Beatleness, where she does talk about there's that time in 67 where the people took a Beatle break. They really didn't want to be a part of that, the whole psychedelia, Summer of Love or whatever phase or maybe they just weren't old enough to understand what the Beatles were, moving into, the direction they were going musically. They just wanted to stick with the bubblegum pop of the Monkees or whatever.
And, I hope my Aunt Audrey is watching from Georgia. But the one that gave me the record case that got married in 1967 or 66. So there's only early stuff. But I remember her when I was saying that I heard Get Back. I remember playing it on the radio and things like that. Yeah. Yes, when you were taking a Beatle break, meaning my beloved Aunt Audrey would say like, this is like 69, 70. They haven't even broken up yet. I don't want to hear them. They're all just on drugs.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you're referring to, where people kind of like stepped away because, yes, they only remembered, as John would say, I'm sorry you like the mop tops, dear, and you like the Hard Day's Night, but, and not to doing a horrible impression, but I feel comfortable at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you, Paul, for popping in and talking. Thank you, everybody out there for joining the show. And
thank you, everyone.
Again, please subscribe to Uncle Paul. Please subscribe to Two Legs if you haven't already. Hold on, before you go, don't when we sign off, don't sign off yet, Paul, because I want to talk to you for a few minutes after this.
I thank everyone in the comments, no matter what they were. I love everyone.
Yes.
Love and respect everyone. I do.
Yes,
I really do from the heart.
So make sure you check out Andy's a live stream on Sunday. Make sure he does the trivia. Congratulations to Sun Dodger for winning the book. Like I said, email twolegspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get you this book as soon as possible. Lynn says, great show, Uncle Paul and Tom. We got Patrick saying thank you, Uncle Paul.
Thank
Joseph, thanks, Tom, Uncle Paul. This was a great episode. Thank you, guys. Tim's always good to see you, hear from you. Joe Mayo, thank you, my friend. Popping in, Beatly Tone, Ollie, Charlie. We've got Tony D, of course. We got Mark. We got Biletti, Patrick, Susan, Lynn, Charlie. If I said that, Lee. So many greats that pop in every week for Andy and I's live streams. So Mike Walls, Jasper. We got James. We got Joseph. All you guys play a big part in our weeks. And there we go. Here he is. I'll have to catch the replay. Mr. Broadstreet, we got Paul's wearing the Broadstreet pin, and she's got the picture. Hold on. There he is. That's the New York premiere of Give My Regards to Broadstreet. There.
Just put a camera over my head.
Yes. So, all right, everybody, take care. We will see you next week. It's Paul's birthday next week. I'm sure we're going to do something. And you guys, everybody out there, have a great rest of the week. Take care.
The Playhouse is closed.